So in this video I'm going to be removing the seats in my Abarth Grande Punto. It will be the same as it is for an Abarth Punto Evo and the Fiat versions of the Puntos as well. If you want to see how to do it, stay tuned and I'll see you very shortly. Okay guys, so before we get started, the first thing we're going to do is, just to be safe, we're going to disconnect the battery. I'm going to disconnect the battery and I'm going to start working on the back seats before we move to the front, so at that time, if there is any still, electrical current running through the airbags in the front, then they will have dissipated by then. So a lot of people might tell you that you don't need to disconnect the battery when you're working with airbags. I like to do it just to be safe, and I'd advise you to do the same. So let's get cracking, disconnect the battery and start the back seats. So if you are doing this on the Grande like I am, open your boot first, then disconnect the battery. Otherwise you're going to go to open your boot, it's not going to work, you're going to have to reconnect your battery and do it all over again. With the Evos, they've got a button on the boot anyway, so you can just open it whether you disconnected the battery or not. But if you're doing it for Grande, do the boot first, then disconnect the battery. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the bench of the actual seat first. So down here and down there, there's a T40 bolt, which is a Torx bit. So we're going to remove that once as we've lifted the actual bench up. So you can see once you've taken these two bolts off, that frees out all this space. Oh, look.
What?
That's nice.
Do you know what? That's not a bad. What makes
Naked
that?
free.
Do you know what? That's urban decay. Nice.
Anyway, so once we've taken those two bolts off, this bench will come off, and then we've got a strap at the back which we're going to show you. But first we're going to take the bench off of the seat, and then we'll get to the back. Right, so now those two T40 bolts are out the bench of the seat. It literally comes out like that. So the next step is going to take the parcel shelf out. These clips in here are broken on mine, which seems to be a common fault. It's that little clip there, it's supposed to hold it in, but it's snapped. So this is actually a lot easier to take out than it should be. Then the carpet comes out. Okay, so these are the two bolts we were talking about earlier. They're a T50. They are going to be quite tight. You may need to get a breaker bar on them, but even once you start to wind them, they're still going to be quite tight anyway. They're going to be easier to get to now before you actually flatten the bench down further, because then it will bring the bottom of it closer and it'll be harder to get to, so it's better to do that bit now. Right, so it is quite difficult to get those out, so you might find it easier if you've got a torque wrench. It'll give you a bit more leverage. Obviously a normal ratchet will come down to about there, so you've got that much more distance to be able to get proper leverage on the bolt. So we've pretty much done the back seats now. On each side at the top here, there's a little release catch. When you press it, makes the bench, well, back of the seat come down. And you just lower it down like that. The final bit is down in this corner here. There's a little pressure release, and the same on the other side down here. It seems to be, I've seen it on the forums a lot of times, people have been struggling with this bit, so This is like probably the most difficult bit of taking the back seats out. Right, so as you're looking at this mechanism in here, you've got a little plate at the back down here, and then you've got almost like a funnel shape at the back here. So if you put a screwdriver down and push this plate outwards, it will move the seat up to there. I prefer to use Phillips because you get a bit more space in there. So you push that back like that, and that moves it so it's not release. It's going to release in there, and then you basically put in this funnel bit back with the screwdriver like that. So you can see it's come out in between these two little metal plates here, and the seat just slides up. So that's one side. Right, so show you one more time. Just pop that little screwdriver in against there. That releases that bit a little bit. And then you're just trying to push that back. As you can see, it is actually quite difficult. And there you go, that's the back of the seat out. So that's your back seat done. Right, so if you are following this to do a rear seat delete, I've actually done one on the Punto Evo. I've done a video on how to do it, doing the fake floor with the netting and all that kind of stuff, cutting the wood, making it yourself. So if you want to see how to do that, I'm going to drop a couple of pictures in now. And I'm also going to put the link in the video as well. Okay, so we'll start with the driver's side. If you just push the seat all the way as far back as it will go, and then this little plastic cover at the front is what holds the airbag and the seat belt plugs. So I'm just going to pop these two little clips out like that. So it will take a bit of encouragement. This little clip here pushes in, plug wiggles up, little yellow tab here, pull the red tab towards the door, and then that releases the airbag. So as we've got the front seat pushed all the way back already, you've got a T40 on this rail here, and then another T40 just down there. So we're going to undo those two first, and then we're going to slide the seat forward, and then there's two more bolts at the back. Quite tricky to get down into this gap, so I'm just using the actual head without the ratchet now just to get the bolt out. Alright, so now we're just going to slide the seat forward. Just be careful because the front of the rails aren't attached anymore. So then, like I said earlier, got another Torx bit there, T40, and you've got another T40 down here as well. Right, so that's the seats out now. 10p.
10p? No. No, it's £1. An old pound coin and a 10p. That can be my fee for filming. No one in there.
Right, so I'm not going to show you the other side. It's going to be the same as what we've just done on this side, so there's no point making the video longer than it needs to be. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget, if you are doing this for a rear seat delete, click on that link down below to see what I've done. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.